What's up, guys? Welcome back to the shop. On this quick tech tip episode, I am going to be using this cloth braided line and or steel braided line. You can choose yours. I'm just going to use this black stuff, and I'm going to make vacuum lines out of this for things like the PCV valve and then the line that runs off the valve cover up to the intake pipe. So in order to use this stuff, it looks awesome, everything's sweet about it, but if you don't address this end right here, it'll fray and it'll come unwoven and it'll look like crap over time. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a straight hose in, we're going to unscrew the part that screws in here normally to lock it in, we're going to throw it in the toolbox for later, we're going to go ahead and screw it on like normal, but we are going to have to modify it. So this will ruin the hose end fitting, but it'll leave you with this nice clean sleeve. To do that, we're going to have to drill these threads out and make this hole big enough or bigger than the male end on the intake or the male end on the PCV valve so that it'll slide in here, because right now it will not slide in. So super simple to do. Let's go ahead and get this over in the drill press, get it drilled out and get it put on the car. So like I said here, I have these straight hose ends. I ordered a couple extra. We're gonna have to go ahead and just unscrew the part that goes over the hose, and this part we can just disregard because this is all we want right here. So first thing we're going to want to do is just wrap this fitting in a couple layers of electrical tape. This is going to keep it from getting scratched up while we clamp it in the vise at the drill press. If you don't have a drill press, you can use a regular drill and maybe a set of locking pliers, vice grips or something like that. Probably would help to have a buddy. You could also put it in a vise and use a hand drill that way, but since we have a vise at the drill press, we'll probably just use the drill press. So I've got that wrapped around there 4 or 5 times now, and we'll go ahead and clamp it in here. Alright guys, so the 1/2-inch drill bit I ran through here wasn't quite big enough to be able to get the hose through that, or get the hose in here and then get the end pushed in there. There just wasn't enough room for that hose to expand. I was fighting it. So I think a 5/8 would probably be about perfect. I don't have a 5/8 drill bit, but I do have my handy dandy die grinder. So I'm going to go ahead and just go around this a handful of times, open it up, and get it so that we can get the hose on. Okay, now that we've got that opened up, it's a little off center, but that should be fine. I'll show you how we get the hose on there. Just like with all AN fittings, this is threaded in reverse threads, so you want to push all the wires in and start loosening it basically, and that'll end up tightening up and drawing it on. And then for this, since we have that hole oblonged out so much bigger, I'm going to screw it past so that the hose is actually hanging out the end, and that's going to allow me to be able to push that onto the barbed fitting. And once it's pushed on, I'm going to go ahead and tighten it, or loosen it I guess, which would be tightening it, and then draw it back until the hose is no longer hanging out. And what that'll do is it'll lock that in place, and it makes for a nice clean end. So as you can see here, I got the PCV valve in there. I did the same procedure. That sucker is stuck on there. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to leak. Vacuum anyway. I would not do this on anything that is going to have fluid coming out of it or pressure, but since this is vacuum, we should be in good shape. Got the PCV valve pushed in the hole, and we're going to loosen this until the hose is hanging out just a little ways. got it hanging out about a 1/4 inch. A little bit of lube goes a long way. So I'll go ahead and just put a little splash of WD-40 on there and get this thing pushed on. Be careful with those the wire, the steel braided lines sticking out. Those sons of guns are sharp. It takes a little bit of muscle. Get it pushed on there. And let's see what size wrench. Grab a wrench to fit that. We're gonna go ahead and loosen this, aka tighten it, and it'll go ahead and tighten down and cover up the hose. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the logo on the fitting down. And there we have it. We got a nice solid hose. It is going to be perfect for vacuum situations. We shouldn't have to worry about any air leaks on that, and it looks so much cleaner than having hose clamps on there, and it's going to match our fuel line, so it's going to be awesome. Alright guys, that's going to be a wrap for how I take steel braided line, or in this case a cloth braided line, in a couple hose ends and make it look like it's a steel braided line when it's actually just a vacuum line. It's way better than having a rubber hose with some hose clamps on it, and it's going to match our fuel line once we get those ran. So that's the name of the game, making everything look like it belongs, making everything match, and make it nice and clean. So that being said, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.